Hi guys, it's Mary. It's been a long time, and I'm trying a new thing, so I don't know how this will work. But I'm filming on my phone because I just thought it was um, easier for me in terms of also editing. I found an app to edit on the phone, and I hope it works. We'll see, because otherwise I never thought I had the time to film a video. I think that even though I have this romantic idea of being consistent with this channel, the truth is, until my life is not consistent, I can't be consistent with my channel. But I still really love it. And since I feel like I'm back in the groove of reading, I've been catching up with my booktube watching, and I just thought I'd pop in and out. I just thought I'd pop to tell you a little bit of what I've been reading, what's been happening lately. Nothing much, to be honest, with two kids. One of them is a toddler. Yeah, so I'm not back to work yet, so I thought maybe I was a bit more free, even though I'm really not. I think when I'll be back to work, actually my life will be a little bit more put together. So yeah, I last year I never finished uploading. Well, I didn't even film the remaining wrap-ups about the books that I read. I didn't update on the books that I bought. But at some point I thought, yeah, whatever. I just thought if I have to do everything by the book, I'll never do it. I just know that. So last year it was not a great reading year for me. It was a great year altogether, but not in reading wise. I wasn't reading a lot. I was very tired. I'm still very tired, but I managed to read now a little bit more. Last year I read 10 books in total, which is not a lot, not even for my standards. And one of them was a reread. So I read 9 books, basically 9 new to me books last year. And it wasn't a great reading year because there were no 5-star reads for me. But I want to mention the book that I think I liked the most last year. Which it was a 4-star read, but it's really not that important. I mean, I don't think star ratings are that relevant, because sometimes I rate a book 4 stars and then the book keeps I don't know, I feel like I have it dear to my heart, even though it wasn't a 5-star read. So sometimes 4 stars are 5 stars, basically. But I don't know. I feel like it's a gut thing. When I want to give a book 5 stars, I just know. And whenever I feel like I'm questioning my rating, I'm like, should I give this book 5 stars? Then maybe I shouldn't. I don't know if that makes sense. But the book that I rated 4 stars, but I feel like it's the best book I read last year, was The Sleepwalker's Guide to Dancing by Mira Jacob. And I picked this book up because of Mercedes over at Mercedes Bookish Musings. I think this was one of her favorite books. I don't remember what year she read this, but we read it with the book club, with her book club on Patreon. But I'm not very active on that book club, but I do participate. Like later on, I pick up the books that we choose and then I read them, almost all of them. Some of them I didn't pick up or read, but most of them I'm very interested in them, and so I tend to pick them up maybe after 3 months, but I do it. So I'm not really participating in the discussions that much because I'm always late to the party. But this was very good. It really stayed with me. This is a book about a family, basically, and it's I love that it's a dual narrative with 2 different timelines. I do love this in books when there's a timeline set in the past and then one in the present, and you get to know, like, they complete each other. I really love that. And I would say this is a sort of family saga. It's all about the protagonist of the novel, but also about her family and complicated feelings around family and where you belong when you are, for example, she lives in the US, but she's from India, basically. Her family is from India, and what does that mean, and how the two countries merge or clash in this novel. And I really liked it. I thought every character described in this book was fleshed out. It made me emotional as well. I just think this was a great book, so I would definitely recommend it. So enough about last year. Let's jump into this year, right? And actually, I'm going to use a book to bridge from one year to the other. And the book is The 100 Years' War on Palestine by Rashid Khalidi. So with everything that happened last year, I decided to pick up a book because I was very ignorant on the matter. And it's something that's been going on forever. It didn't start, we all know, it didn't start on the 7th of October. So I just thought it was time for me to get educated, because I feel like this tragedy that is still ongoing, it really impacted on me in a very deep and intense way, and sort of changed my viewpoint, I don't know, of the world, of myself, of humanity. I don't know. I feel like every year something happens that rocks our world in one way or the other. So I thought I picked this up because this is very informative. I started this book in November last year and I finished it in January. It was a long read because it's not an easy read. It's very dense, it's very historic. And yeah, this, I absolutely would recommend it, especially if you want to know something about, if you want to know more about Palestine. And this is basically, I have the cat on my lap. I don't know if you can see him. But anyway, this, I think it should be required read for everyone. And it's obviously, this was written way before everything that happened last year. And it spans a long period of time. I think it starts in the early 900s. And it's, yeah, it was important for me. And on the same wavelength, I don't know, I forgot how to speak in the meantime. I'm reading another book. This one is by Ilan Pappè. I'm reading this in Italian, but it was written in English. And the English title is The Ethnic Cleansing of Palestine. And yeah, I started this recently. I'm going super slow again because, on one hand, I already know lots of the things that are happening, or lots of the things that he's describing I already know because of this book, but also because of all the other stuff that I read in these months. I've been watching documentaries, reading a lot of articles, listening to podcasts, interviews and such. And so it's stuff that I know, but I still feel like it's helpful and I still want to read it, but I'm taking it slowly and just going very slow with this. I am in no rush. As you can see, I'm like a quarter of the way through, and yeah, I'm really liking it. But I don't know if I would feel differently had I read this before this. I still prefer this one over this, but I still have to finish this one. So there's that. Then to lighten the mood, because these are very, not happy reads, I read the 5th volume of the Heartstopper series by Osman. So this is Heartstopper volume 5. It's a nice love story between these two boys in high school, and it's fluffy. It's a bit bittersweet, but more sweet than bitter. Still very real. The art style, it's very simple, but I like it. There's also the Netflix series. It's very cute. I wouldn't normally gravitate towards cutesy, woodsy series and books, but this one, I don't know. I like it. It's a 4-star read for me. It's just, and we thought that this was going to be the last volume of the series, but it's not. So I think there are another 2 volumes that are that need to come out before the series is finished. So looking forward to that. Then we have, my first 5-star read of the year. Where is it? Oh, here. Which is The Unseen World by Liz Moore. I'm so late to the party because I remember this book being all over BookTube in like 2016. That's when I put it on my list. It's been there forever. I didn't even remember what this book was about. I think I was mixing this book up with another book that was very popular that year. So I thought this one was about someone having a heart failure or something, but it's not. It's a story about a girl and her father, and how her father is basically, I think he has Alzheimer's disease. Yes, he's losing, his memory, and she figures out that he's been lying to her about many things. She is very smart. So it's a sort of a coming of age story, I would say. And the focus of the novel is the relationship between her and her father. But there's so much more. I loved it so much. It's a 5-star read for me. I picked it up always because of Mercedes, because again, this one was one of the picks of the book club. And I'm so glad that I finally picked it up, that I had an excuse to pick it up, because really I cried, I sped through it. I love the writing style. I'm so excited to read more from the author, because I just think this book, I cannot find any flaws in this book. It's written, I think the writing style is very rich, like in details. I still can picture all the places that she described, but at the same time it's very simple. It really reads very, it flows very nicely. So I think, yeah, only merits for this book. Loved it, definitely recommend it. What else? Okay, then we have a little parenthesis, I would say, on chickens, my little chicken obsession, because we decided to build a chicken coop in the chicken run. Actually, there's a coop, and then we have space because we live in the countryside. We have a lot of free space for chickens, and yeah, we decided to get chickens. Not a lot, like 4, 5, 6 maybe. But as it happens, I just got obsessed over this thing, and I wanted to do things properly. So I wanted to know everything about, how to build a chicken coop, what chickens to choose and how, what to feed them, what else? Yeah, basically all things chickens. And it happens that my toddler is also obsessed with chickens. She was obsessed with chickens before we decided to get a chicken coop. So when the chicken coop will be done, when we'll actually have real, living chickens, I think she'll go, crazy, because yeah, chickens. So I read books about chickens, of course. So I'm not gonna talk a lot about them, because I'm so sad that I didn't find really very great books about chickens. So I read this, I think it's an Italian book about chickens. I'm pretty sure. It wasn't that great. I think it was like, I don't know, you could have read these things on Wikipedia and you were good. So I'm not gonna, yeah. And then I read the Compact Chicken Health Handbook, which is mostly about like diseases and sicknesses. But I really didn't like this book. It's written very badly by Rebecca Bachman. It also has some grammatical mistakes. It's a mess. This book is a mess, and maybe it was useful for some things, but then I couldn't really take the author seriously because of how the book is written. So disappointment after disappointment. I read this, which, okay, I read this in Italian, but I think this book is actually in English. It's called, oh, Mini Encyclopedia Chicken. Oh, I don't know, by Francis Bassom. And this was actually the best one that I read. It has, you know, there's color, there's pictures, there's a lot about how to build a chicken. And yeah, these were all the nonfiction books I read about chickens. Wait, I don't know if well, no, there's this one too that I got on a secondhand market with secondhand books market. It's an Italian like pamphlet, and it's all about feeding chickens. It's like from the 50s. I thought it was going to be useful. It was not very useful, but it's pretty. See? Yeah, that's it. Then I read a novel about chickens that I had in my TBR. I had it for a while, and I thought, you know, this moment is just perfect for reading it since I'm so obsessed with chickens. And this is Brood by J.K. Polzin. Polzin. I don't know how I pronounced it, but this was great. It was a 4-star read for me, but I loved everything about it. It's very snappy, very sort of short. The sentences is very simple. The writing style is very simple. But it talks about this woman that wants to have chickens, like exactly like me. A few chickens, a small chicken coop, but it's also about motherhood. It was great. I think it helped that I have this obsession over chickens right now, so it was just the perfect book for me at the perfect time. But I still would recommend it. I think it's a great book, and it's well written. So yeah, there's that. So then I read also because of the as you can tell, I'm trying to catch up on the book club reads, and I've read The Wolf Border by Sarah Hall, and well, this was a 3-star read for me. It was good. I liked the writing style. It was a bit slow, and it's not that nothing much happened, but I thought, I don't know, I got a bit bored, to be honest, with this, and I also thought that even if nothing much happened, because I don't care if nothing much happens, I'm not a person that wants a book to be very plotty, but I don't think it was a great character study as well, because I didn't feel like I was learning a lot about her as a person. I felt very distant from her, very detached. And sometimes I don't mind detached like narrators. I think even the protagonist of this one, she's a bit cold as a person, but I felt much more for her in a very, short, because this one was shorter and very fast, a very fast read. I think this one could be read in a sitting. But this one, it was long, but I didn't think it explored that much her feelings or her view of the world. This is basically about a project. She's an expert in a like wolves reservation. She's working in the US, even though she's from England, and she goes back to England to try and basically this rich guy wants to bring wolves in England, and I didn't even know that England didn't have wolves. I'm so ignorant, but apparently this is a very big deal, and they want this project to work, and they got her because she's very good in her field, and at first she's reluctant, and then she goes, and it's about this big project, about reintroducing wolves, or introducing wolves in England, and also about her and her life. Yeah, I don't want to say too much, but it was interesting. I didn't even know this thing about, we have wolves here. It's full of wolves, and it's not a big deal. And for everyone here, it's actually I looked it up, and it's not just the fiction. It's not just the book. It really was an attempt at trying to introduce wolves in England, and it didn't. But nothing, they didn't do anything with it. There's still no wolves in England, and people are crazy about this because they are so afraid of wolves and how they could hurt people, I guess. But I don't know, we have wolves, they don't hurt people. It's a complicated, probably it would be a complicated issue to discuss, but to me it was not a big deal because I live in the countryside, and I'm as I said, I'm wrapping my head around how to build a chicken coop that will keep the chickens safe from predators, especially wolves, because we have a lot of them, wolves and foxes and other kinds of predators. So for me, it was like, why is that such a big deal? But I guess, it's true. So it's not just the book. Aside from that, yes, I thought the book was interesting. I enjoyed my reading experience, but to me, it lacked something, some feelings. So yeah, there's that. Then I read another 5-star read, which was Poor Things by Alasdair Gray. And this one was amazing. I love this book so much. And I read it because, well, I remember Jen Campbell talking about this way back in the day. She talked about this multiple times. And every time I didn't feel like I wanted to read this book, but I even remember the cover. I remember her talking about it. And I thought at the time, it doesn't sound like something I would enjoy. And I never put it in my TBR. But then the movie came out, as you all know. I love Emma Stone. And I didn't even watch the trailer, but as I saw the title of the book, the title of the movie, I thought, what if this is actually the movie from the book that Jen was talking about? So I looked into it, and yes, it's, the movie is exactly, it's an adaptation of this book. So I thought, wait, before I watch anything about the movie, even trailers, I don't want to watch anything. I just want to read the book first, because now I'm interested, because I want to watch the movie, right? So I picked it up without knowing much, and I loved it. It's, well, as everybody describes it, like a modern day Frankenstein, even though I never read Frankenstein. So yes, I don't know, be awful to me, because I deserve it, because I need to read Frankenstein, I know. But yes, it's basically a doctor, decides to say, well, there's a woman that drowns, and she's pregnant. She killed herself, and he saves the baby's life by putting the brain of the mother inside the baby. And this is this story, but the book has so many layers because it's the author that, it's a story within a story, because the author claims that the book that is presented to you was written by a friend of the doctor's, but the woman that is the child of this mother that drowned doesn't agree with the viewpoint of the book. I'm sure I'm making a mess in explaining this, but you have many point of views, and you get to decide who to believe. And yeah, it's also a very peculiar book, and the fact that is like there's drawings in it, different styles, there's different types of fonts and stuff. and it's brilliant. It's sort of gothic, but also ironic and very feminist. And even though it was written in the 90s, it's so relevant right now. And I loved it. And I couldn't help but picture Emma Stone as Bella Baxter. I think she's the perfect Bella Baxter. And I couldn't, like, because I knew that the movie, that she was the protagonist of the movie, I just couldn't get her off my mind. Usually I don't do that. Usually when I'm reading a book, I just get into it. But with this book, I couldn't help but picture her. But unfortunately, I didn't end up loving the movie that much. I think it was a great movie. It has its merits. She was great. She's the perfect Bella Baxter, as I said, but the book is so much more, and it gives you a different spin. I think the movie lacks the many perspectives. I don't know if I wish, I don't know. Had I watched the movie before reading the book, probably I would have loved the movie. And I would have thought, wow, what a great, groundbreaking movie. But the book is so much better. I'm still glad I watched the movie, but read the book. Read the book because the book is great. Then, oh Jesus, this was very long. Yesterday night, I just finished The Last of Her Kind by Sigrid Nunez. Again, this one was a book from the book club. This was the January pick, but I finished it now, and I liked it. It was a 3.5-star read for me, even though for Mercedes was a 5-star read. So I'm like, what did I miss? I thought it was a great story. It was interesting. It's set, I didn't know it was from 2006. It really reads as a book written last year. It's very relevant, but it's set in the 70s mainly. And it's a story about these two girls that were roommates, and their lives basically. And also, I mean, this is sold as, on the back it says that it's about their relationship, which is a bit troubled, but it's really not that much about their relationship. And I think that was my main problem with this book. I enjoyed it. It was long, and sometimes I got very confused because it would jump between timelines and between events. There was a couple of instances in which I didn't know whether they were hallucinating or it was something really happening. It happened, it didn't, I don't know. I got a bit confused with the writing style of this. I felt like she wanted to put a lot of things inside this book, and I'm not sure the structure really worked that much. And I don't think it explored very well the relationship between these two people, even though the thing is, the main thing is one of the two, Anne, is sort of it's not the protagonist, because we are looking at Anne through Georgette's perspective, but still the book is about Anne, and I don't think they explored their relationship that much. And there are a lot of characters. Some of them, I thought their stories or their, stuff that involved them wasn't that interesting. I don't think they were all, I don't know. There was something lacking in this book. My thoughts are very fresh because I finished it last night and it was very late, and I forced myself to finish it because I thought I only have 30 pages left, but it was like 1 a.m. and I'm supposed to be sleeping at that time because my toddler still wakes up a lot during the night, so it was not a wise decision. But I liked it. I still feel like there are things that I tabbed. There are things that it made me think a lot, but I still feel like I don't want to, part ways with this, because usually when I rate a book 3 stars, sometimes I'm like, okay, this was just an okay book, I can get rid of it. But this one, I don't want to get rid of it. I think it's still interesting, and I need to sit with it for a while before I decide. It was interesting, but yes, not amazing. I guess that's it for this video because it's getting very long. I don't have any more space on my phone. I talked a lot, even a bit too much, but I'm sure I'm gonna be back soon because well, I don't want to make any promises, but I'm reading. I'm being consistent right now. I'm watching BookTube, trying and commenting as well. I hope you all are doing well. Please talk to me in the comments about the books that I read, about the books you've been reading, just about chickens, of course.